Welcome to Sports Back Talk with Boley and Ringer. Hey, we're back. We almost forgot how to do this. It's been so long. Geez, a 3-week hiatus. What'd you do, Mike?
Well, and my phone's ringing off the hook, of course.
Because everybody wants to know
when
what's
we're going to be
going
back on and what's going on. Did we get canceled? Did we get disciplined for something we said? No, we just took a little break. Sometimes the product can get a little stagnant and old if we're talking about the same thing. So.
Well, 2 weeks ago I had a volleyball game, a playoff volleyball game that I had to go do, and then last week you were feeling a little under.
Yeah, well, I didn't feel real well, and I didn't go to work. And my parents always had a saying: if you don't go to school or you don't go to work, you don't go to play.
That's right. So there it is.
So how am I looking now?
You look pretty good, Mike.
Darn good. Okay, well, good to hear.
It's good to hear that. Good to see that you've
still got that little cold right in here. Anybody else have that?
I'm
right
unfortunate.
I think being from Minnesota and living in International Falls, I think we have it. Like from November, more so this year, from November to March. So, gosh, long winter now. Doggone it.
And it's not going to give in. The snow is here to stay, it looks like, and I know it was melting a little bit in the dark spots today, but not good.
Another couple weeks, we'll of course be leaving at home when it's dark, and we'll get home definitely when it's dark, and that's life here in Minnesota. But hey, I wouldn't live anywhere else.
So where you want to start? What over the last 3 weeks is maybe I'll start. I won't even ask you. I'm just going to go. You've been on the Wild. You've now said there's no way they're going to make the playoffs.
No.
They're going to be 7th, it looks like you're telling me.
6th or 7th.
6th or 7th in the 7th-team Central Division. Well, nobody can score is what I think what I saw you say.
Yeah, and I went on me and my brother Gerald and Brucey Sandbeck and Jimmy Haltman and Darcy Ruport. That's our 5 in our shack. And, of course, we watched the Wild. And the other 3, Darce, Jimmy, and Brucey, they kind of lax about it. Me and Gerald were getting pretty upset. And you could kind of see that goal coming there in the third period after they missed the call on, I believe it was Eck. But, yeah, I seen a lot of bad things. I don't like the makeup right now, and that can change. I think.
What about it? What is it that you see that you don't like? What is it that they're not playing together? They can't play with each. What is it that you're seeing?
A lot of players taking a lot of shifts off. Zucker, perfect example. And I'm not picking on Zucker, and he doesn't. Nobody cares if I am or not. But I guess I look at it and say, if you're on the ice for 17, 18 minutes a night, that's total. That's your whole day at the office. Your whole day at work is 17, 18 minutes. Why can't you bust your butt the whole time you're out there?
Good.
I seen him gingerly go out to the point 3-4 times, just half butt, just out there, takes a little swing, not working hard, and mostly in the neutral and the defensive zones. He picks the speed up when he gets in the offensive zone, but boy, he's got to work harder.
I'll ask this question because I thought Zucker, and I haven't watched the Wild now, I would say really in the last maybe 2 weeks.
Okay.
Was he was playing better earlier in the season, was he not? Or
yeah, Zucker, that's what you get with him. That's what you get with a lot of Wild players, in my opinion.
Sure.
Because you get a lot of here, and we don't have we have Marcus Foligno. Yeah. You ever watch his brother Nick Foligno play? We don't have that guy. Victor Arvidsson, we don't have that guy from Nashville. Okay, these guys come every night, show up every night. Victor Arvidsson signed for a lot less, signed for $3.3 million a year for 5 years. I mean, talk about a steal Nashville gets. And that Poyle keeps doing it. He just traded for Turris late last night, earlier today, and he's going to be their second line center behind 92. Can't remember his name right, Johansson. But they're loaded for bear. Winnipeg's loaded. They're up front. They're loaded. They got 4 or 5 all-star players: Scheifele, Wheeler, Enstrom. I can keep Liney, Little. I mean, just one after another. And we're trying to, put in guys like Stewart playing top 9 minutes, which always worries me because then now all of a sudden he thinks he's a top 9 player.
Well, and he scored the first 6 games of the year. Yeah. That really.
Yeah, where's he at now? That's the problem is I don't think the Wild have their coach cares a lot. And I'm not saying they don't care, but I just think they're
So
a
somebody
little
gonna get
more lackadaisical than most other teams.
So is somebody going to get chipped? I mean, somebody going down the
Well,
road.
I know one
soon?
thing that happened today. I don't think I was too off on my Zucker comments because Boudreau switched all the lines. He took Zucker off the Koivu line, and now he's playing with Stewart and Cullen tonight. They moved Ennis up with Koivu and Granlund, and then Cunnin was moved on to the fourth line, which I think he's been their best player for the last 10 games, but he did make a mistake. He had no reason to be in the center of the ice there in the first place, and when he got his stick up, the guy was kind of falling, got the 4-minute high stick, game over. They get a power play, game over, but I don't know if he deserved to get, maybe he's just trying to spark some things. Maybe he's trying to get Eck going, because Eck, I was figuring Eck for 20 to 25 this year. He's got one. Granlund still hasn't scored. He's got to get her going. A lot of guys just not scoring, and they're starting right now. So I'm sure it's 0-0 already.
Dumba, I know the game that I did watch the other night against Washington. I think I got to see the third period. Was that the game where he got sat down because? Or was that a different game?
That was a different game.
That was a different game.
Yeah.
So
but he played good the next night. He did against Montreal. He played very well. I can't remember the night. Winnipeg was the game because that
exactly
27 for Winnipeg stole the puck. But I don't know.
I mean, is it? Does Bruce have control of the team?
I think so.
You think so?
I think so. I think his style can wear on some players. It's an in your face.
You mean?
Yeah. Well, Thibodeau's. They have a strange relationship, though. Thibodeau's harsher than. But if you remember a week and a half back, where Boudreau came out and said, I had to give him a. I do so much screaming and yelling after we lose, and sometimes they don't need to hear that. Okay, so he went away from it. They played good the next game. You could see his face was just beat up red. He was so mad, not only at the refs, but he was mad at his team. He mentioned we had 2 breakaways in the third period. Okay, I don't know if they hit the net on either of them. You got to get some clutch players, and like I said that the other night too, is Corey Crawford. He might not have the statistics and all these big numbers that.
Why does he always play good against the Wild?
Well, that is my case. Is Dubnyk
if he's got bad numbers, if he's got such bad numbers, how come he always comes up big against the Wild?
He comes up big against everybody.
Yeah, but if his numbers aren't good, then he's not coming up big all the time.
His numbers aren't bad. They're just not up to Dubnyk type numbers. But Dubnyk,
in the big game,
where is he? Kind of disappears a little bit. So good thing we aren't covered by a lot of Twin Cities crowd here, because I'd be getting beat up attacking their Wild.
So the Wild are sitting in 7th place right now.
Yeah.
By Christmas time, do you see this team at all coming around? I mean, is it just?
I say a 500 team at Christmas.
500 team?
Same as what they are right now. They'll be at the holiday season.
Okay.
And the reason I say that, I've looked at the schedule and the opponents they have. If they win 2 out of the next 4 on the road, that would be a great road trip. They got Philly. They got tonight Boston. I believe they got the Montreal Canadiens in Montreal, and a lot of tough road games. There's no easy game on the road. That's why going 3-3 last week was not good enough. You had to go at least 5-1, 4-2-1. They're not stealing any ties. They're basically getting beat at the end of all games. That's frustrating Boudreau, as they're getting outplayed in every third period they played in. They get outscored in every third period they play. Even the Montreal game, they're up 6-1, Ringer.
Yeah.
Guys started coasting again, going through them all. Why? If I could, and I know Boudreau says, I used to hear it from my coaches. Hey, Bolstead.
Pops?
Yeah, hey, not so much Pops when I got up to college. You're only out there, Bolstead, for 15 minutes a game. That's your day. That's it.
Make it work.
Okay, and I've always remember that, and I always keep that, because that's it. That's all. If you can't work for 15 minutes a day at 110%, then you shouldn't be playing. And I see far too many players doing that. I don't know why. they think they have the privilege of doing that. They're at a great place. They're in the big show. They made the NHL because they worked harder than everybody else. So when you get there, keep working harder than everybody else. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself dropped to the fourth line. Next thing you know, you're playing in Iowa.
Let's move on.
Why?
Let's
I got so much more.
Let's give you some kudos. Let's put you in a better mood. Let's talk about the World Series for a minute. Let's go all the way back to March.
Yeah, March. You guys were all here, right?
7.5 months
Everybody's
ago.
here in March. Yep.
7.5 months ago, we did our baseball predictions. We said that the Twins would only win like 73. I think
You said that.
68
Yeah.
games. The Twins did end up winning 85, but Mike went out on a limb and said that the Houston Astros would win the World Series.
Not only win the American League, but World Series.
The whole enchilada, and they did her.
No, if my brain would have been as high as my heart at the time, I would have had some money out in Vegas on that thing. But no, not me. I didn't do it.
Did you watch a lot of it?
No.
No. Couldn't get into it because
Don't know anybody.
don't know anybody.
We got into that the last few times, and there's just no star power. The Springer guy. Did you know the Minnesota Twins drafted him in the 48th round?
I did not know that.
Okay.
I did not know that.
And there's fans out there that are going after the Twins for not signing him. 48th round. You know what his odds were? Well,
Low.
for him,
Really low.
0%. 0 with a couple zeros and a 1 at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, so he didn't end up signing him, but I guess they can claim to fame it as saying they were the original ones that found him.
Yeah, I did end up. That's probably the most of the World Series I've watched in years. I don't know how that is. It's probably why I wasn't watching the Wild. Because I was watching baseball when I had the chance. This Altuve kid, Correa kid for Houston.
They're good.
Fun to watch. Verlander, kind of came on and made it a big deal. Fox in the Major League got exactly what they want. 2 years in a row, back-to-back 7-game thrilling series all the way through. They're a nice team. The Dodgers have a nice team. I know that they've got a lot of players that are free agents. They think that they're going to be having a tough time signing them, and I don't know. The one thing that I didn't like was all the showmanship, all the whatever. They hit more home runs than they've ever hit in a World Series before, and every time the bat went flying and they're doing this and they're at the whatever. Hey, just run around the bases and then go in and do whatever you got to do. But what is it? Jock, what's his last name? I can't think of it right now. I was going to remember.
Anderson?
No, that might be. Anyway, he's hit that home run and he's running around the bases and he's coming across third base and he's already at the dugout and I'm like,
yeah, done.
Throw the next one right about here.
Yeah.
Just get him in the helmet. Don't get him in the face. Get him in the helmet. A good one and I'm not a big fan of that stuff, but I don't like this.
It's funny you say that. I got a text about a minute, not even a minute, 30 seconds after it happened from my brother Gerald. He said, "Next time up, give him some heat upside the kitchen."
Yep.
But
or give him one right alongside the. I'd prefer. I understand the head's maybe the wrong place to go, but right in the old knee capper area. Something that he can hobble along with for a couple of days. Every time he steps and bends that knee, he'll remember it. Yeah, it just. Of course, they get to wear so much padding now. They can. It doesn't matter the next time, so they can wear these big industrial strength elbow things, and they can. The big Turner guy with the hair, orange hair out to about here and a beard down to about here. And they're saying his foot's basically on the backside of the plate. He's daring you to try to throw him inside so that he can get hit. And I'm like, well, then if the ball's over the plate and he gets hit, then that's
his fault.
That's not being hit by the pitch.
That it is, unfortunately. But anyways, pretty exciting, I guess, if you watched it. I maybe caught, total from the Twins game all the way to the final out of the World Series, maybe 5 innings.
Wow.
Even when the Twins played, I probably caught 3 innings of that.
Okay, well, let's move on from there. Now that we gave Mike his kudos.
Well, let's do another thing about the Twins.
One more thing.
Twins have an exciting season coming up. They got to go find one pitcher at least, if not two starting pitchers. Probably need one reliever they got to find as a free agent. Molitor's up for American League Manager of the Year, just announced today, so he made the final 3 there. I didn't even see who got that. I'm guessing Girardi was one, but Girardi will probably win that since he's got Ixnay out of New York. But good for the Twins. It should be fun next year.
as you can see, Mike is wearing the new Timberwolf colors tonight. You've
Yeah.
had a chance to see the new Timberwolf
Big
colors.
fan.
It's very much this blue that Mike is wearing tonight, because he's so proud of the Timberwolves with their 5-game winning streak at 7-3 on the young season. And you've been watching the Timberwolves, I'm sure.
They're my boys right now. That's, you know, they're 7-3. I got Jimmy Butler, Lou Alding. I mean, Cat, Wiggins, our new guard Teague hitting from 3 all night long last night. Did you see that?
I did. The assist machine.
And it's a whole different era, a whole different Wolf team, and a whole new bully. I'm a basketball fan.
He's a basketball fan. He's finally coming to the bright side of the winter.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, those are where the athletes
you're
are.
Getting you're on the Timberwolves schedule, looking to see when you can fit a game into your schedule so that you can go watch and start supporting them, I know.
Yeah, I mean, I got some dates marked on the calendar. Diana doesn't know what they mean, and maybe that's better off. But yeah, the day I'd probably go to a Timberwolves game would probably one of my last days on the face of this earth. I guess I'm not probably going to change that around. I'm not going to.
Even if I bought a ticket for you,
I would sell it. Yeah, I would be out in the parking lot scalping that bad boy for $50. I'd go sit in a bar and have a couple cold ones.
There you go. Let's talk bikes. 6-2.
Yeah, pretty exciting.
Did
you watch Mike and Mike at all in the morning?
No.
Okay, so yeah, you probably going to school about 5:30, but they start about 5. I woke up I think at 4:45 this morning. So, anyways, they're on at 5 in the morning. They go till 8 Central time, 8 or 8:30 Central time, and
is it still Mike?
Yeah, this is their last week. It's all going to be an emotional week, but they were mentioning
Are they
the
actually
teams
talking to each other?
who's going to come out of the NFC.
Okay.
All they would mention was Philadelphia,
Yep.
the Rams,
Yep.
and New Orleans.
Nobody else.
Didn't mention the Vikings. Vikings have the same record as the Rams and New Orleans. Plus, they beat New Orleans. New Orleans, of course, won six in a row. And there were people from Minnesota obviously tweeting because Mike and Mike are heavy into the Twitter world,
Yes,
and people were commenting. They still really never brought a lot up. They didn't mention them. I think the reason is the Vikings have a big uncertainty at quarterback. And I think that's...
You haven't jumped on the Case Keenum?
We'll get to that in a little bit. But anyways, Mike and Mike, they all jump in. Of course, Golick used to play for the Philadelphia Eagles, so they're kind of... everybody's on the Eagles and the Rams, and if you think about it, they're comparing draft classes with quarterbacks. And, of course, we remember fondly when I was kind of putting down pretty boy Jared Goff, and I said once was the better of the two.
Yeah.
Well, I still think that's true, but Goff's got my attention. I think he was a darn good pick. I think they're 1 and 1A, and I still think Wentz is a little jump above. What?
I'm waiting for the lightning to.
Well, there's no lightning. It's November. November, but
what?
No.
Did I just? Are you being serious?
What?
About this Goff thing? Are you being serious?
Goff is my boy, like my Wolves.
No. What you just said like 13 seconds ago about it being a good pick. You're being serious.
Very good pick. What's that coach? Who's the coach? McManus? He's younger than half the team. He's he's a good coach. He's got a lot of energy, and he lets the guys play. I mean, they were running it up on the poor Giants yesterday, and the Giants were going through the motions.
That's my pick for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, nice one there.
Nice pick.
A lot of people actually picked them, but they're 1 and 7. They're kind of done, and there's rumors of Eli Manning
being shipped,
being replaced. Talks of being shipped next year to Tom Coughlin's Jacksonville Jaguars, which might make a lot of sense. But Cousins could also go there too. But these probably going to cost them $100 million over 10 years, more than that even, probably 5 years to get them for $100 million. So we'll see. NFL Vikings, getting back to them. This will be a big test for them. They go to Washington D.C. And Washington coming off a big win yesterday, won it in the last minute over Seattle in Seattle.
I did not know that.
Which is that's a tough
enough last night.
That's a tough win to win in Seattle, and the Washington Redskins went out there, played good defense and ended up winning 17-14. That's the Vikings' next opponent, is the Washington Redskins with Kirk Cousins and the rest of his injured receivers, which I happen to have 2 of them, and they're not helping me out.
Well, I would say that if you want to help those players out, you should get rid of them because you are the injury inciter on anybody you put onto your team. So I think you should start picking up all Philadelphia Eagle players that you possibly can so that we can,
Well, maybe I should just trade for them all, and then they'll all start getting like Pierre Garçon. I traded for him 2 weeks ago. Gone for the year. Okay. He was somebody else's problem 2 weeks ago. Bully says, I'm here to help you out. I know he's going to get hurt. Give him to me. I'll give you Dion Lewis of the Pats, and deal done. And it was done.
Anyway, so you had something about Case Keenum or something. You stopped me a few moments ago. You said that's another story. So what's the other story?
They interviewed, Dan Barrera was interviewing Coach Zimmer today, and he said, I know what my plans are, what I'm going to do, but I can't share it with the general public yet. They are going to. They have to activate Teddy Bridgewater.
Have to?
They have to, or he becomes a free agent. Yes. Yep.
Interesting.
So they have to activate him or possibly put him back on IR. But he's already served his eight-week IR thing, and so it's they have to make their move on him. And I would say Keenum's got 2 more games. Bradford's done. It could be Teddy Bridgewater's team in 3 weeks. That's my prediction.
Anyway, so you're saying that Bradford's going to get traded? Can't be traded. They're going to have to cut him. They're going to have to cut him loose.
What's in your ears? Did I say traded?
No.
No, they'll just have to let him go.
Just have to let him. They can't trade him, right? The trade
they could probably put him on IR. I mean, his knees are shot. He's probably played his last. I shouldn't say that, but I'm gonna. He's probably played his last football in the NFL.
Wow.
His knees are beat up, Ringer. I mean, there's no structural damage in those knees. They're just like Bobby Orr's was at the end of his career. They're bone done. On bone, and knees aren't meant to do what the football players do to them, and I believe he'll be done. Too bad. I like him. Nice guy.
So you're saying that by the time Thanksgiving rolls around, by the time the Vikings go to Detroit, that Teddy Bridgewater will be the starting quarterback?
Yes. Washington up next, then the Rams, and then after that,
Detroit on Thanksgiving
Day. Yeah. But the problem with it's a short week, but Teddy will be studying the playbook. His big thing, what I've heard mention, is his arm strength. He's been working more on that because his knees and legs, he's been doing rehab on that for months, and actually the knee's probably stronger than what it was before he got hurt. That's what happens when you do that much rehab. But he's trying to get his arm strength back. And Teddy is, he's more of a floater type passer, easy ball to catch, but not a good ball to have in tight areas like down in the red zone. So he's good between the 20. But I think he's a good leader. He can run a little bit, and I think the players respect him. I think if they want to make a run in the playoffs, I think Teddy or Bradford have to be our quarterback, and I don't think Bradford's going to be healthy enough. Ironically, Teddy's going to be healthy enough, which is kind of amazing after the kind of surgery he's had.
All I hope is that they don't bring him back too soon, because that I just don't. I don't think it's a good idea if he's not physically ready to roll.
You're right, but
they wouldn't put him out. I guess they wouldn't put him out there unless
they're going to say that because they have to. But you got to realize that it's still a business. They have to find out whether they can use them after this year. The only way they're going to find that out is by using them. Yeah. So that's why I know.
We don't want to end up using them, and then there's lots of things out there. Lose a playoff run. Yeah. He could get hurt again, which.
And if you remember last year, I mean, Philadelphia's playing well right now, but somebody will figure this out. Defenses they'll get a scheme to go against the Eagles, who picked up also Jay Ajayi, who's a running back in Miami, and not a bad running back, but they'll figure it out.
But apparently doesn't like to work very hard.
Well, that's the MO on him. I mean, that's why they weren't afraid to ship him out. I mean, I watched the Miami Dolphins running backs yesterday. They look fine. That's a position I think you can just fill in with good athletes because there's so many good running backs on each team. I mean, look at McKinnon. I traded him.
So you should give us your record on your
Well, after tonight, after tonight, 3-6. But look at this, Ringer.
I mean,
I told the league the other night at the meeting, and they all sat and listened astutely, because that's what they do when
that's what they do.
When Bully talks. Is I said I would be in first place, maybe one loss right now.
If
Delvin Cook and David Johnson. I am not going to get a better draft than that again. Okay, those guys would have put up monster numbers. Delvin Cook was putting up monster numbers. And David Johnson was going to get his normal 15 to 20 a game. And
can you tell me how many yards AP got yesterday, by the way? I saw
150 some, 150.
Is that what it ended up?
Yeah, he's the leading rusher in the league. Did you know only one running back in the NFL got over 100 yards yesterday?
And that was Adrian Peterson.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Not good enough for them.
Remember I said 3 weeks ago he would not have another, or 4 weeks ago would not have another big game like
Maybe
that.
you should work on your predictions a little better. I don't know what
When I was watching yesterday afternoon and it said Adrian Peterson like 14 carries, 77 yards, and I'm like, they're playing the late game, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to go on the air tomorrow and confess.
If you weren't going to confess, it was going to get brought up. Just so you know, I mean.
Yeah, that's why we're good friends, Michael, because
you do a lot of good things. Predicting is not one of them. Okay.
Fair enough.
That's been proven.
It's been proven.
Well, look at Sergio Garcia Masters, Houston Astros Altuve.
That just
World
proves
Series.
that you're a good predictor. That doesn't mean that I'm a bad one.
Well, pretty much. Where are your Giants at right now? 1-7.
1-7.
Nice
hey,
prediction.
speaking. As long as I'm feeling down now that I'm getting pressed on.
Yeah.
How about the Bison this weekend? Losing to the Jackrabbits again.
Tough loss up at the Shack. Can't get reports, but we weren't getting any feedback from any of the nephews or brother-in-laws or nieces or anything. And me and Gerald are kind of sitting there like, it must not be going good. And we couldn't get reception to check scores, so I sent a text out to the group, and none of them answered. But
that means bad. I agree.
My cousin Joe, who lives in the Seattle area, came back hard. He says, they can't beat those South Dakota teams. Well, I don't think that went over real well with my brother-in-law.
I wouldn't think so.
But they're going to find out because they play the other South Dakota team here in a couple of weeks.
First loss for the Bison. They were ranked number 2. Not that South Dakota State's a bad team. I think South Dakota State was ranked, 8th in the
very good.
8th in the nation. But second year in a row that South Dakota State has beat North Dakota State.
Yeah.
Not that it means anything, it seems like, because the Bison always seem to make it further than the Jackrabbits.
The Bison want to get in the top 4. That's where they want to be.
My brother played for the Bison, played football for the Bison back in the 90s, and of course my nephew played baseball at South Dakota State. So when they met each other on Friday night.
So father son?
No, uncle nephew.
Okay.
When they met each other, there was some friction on Friday night about who was going to win on Saturday.
Any bets?
No, I don't think there was any bets, but I did have to jab my brother, because the Bison fan, about them losing and him having to eat rabbit food or something.
Well, that should be sort of, one has to eat bison burger and the other one has to eat rabbit food.
There you go. So anyway, that's some good stuff there. College football, did you?
Kind of a mess there in the Big Ten, huh?
Big Ten was going to lay an egg. The Big Ten won't have a team in the Final Four. Will not have a team in the Final Four.
Wisconsin runs the table out.
Wisconsin will run the table in the regular season, and then they will lose to Penn State or Michigan State or Ohio State, whoever comes through.
Right now, go ahead.
I don't think it even matters if they win that game. I still don't think.
Who are they going to put 3 SEC teams in? Georgia, Clemson, and Alabama. Don't they have a playoff?
Clemson's in the ACC.
Oh, that's
and
right.
And Notre Dame will probably hang in there.
They got a tough one. Thursday against Miami of Florida. I might watch that game. Okay. And I say I'm not a big fan of college football. Okay. But I might watch that one. Clemson, boy, it would be pretty tough. Don't forget about Oklahoma. They beat Ohio State early in the year, and
that's why I don't think Wisconsin just isn't got enough good quality opponents to keep moving up.
What if they beat the Gophers? Will that put them over the top?
The Gophers had the least I read this had the least number of total yards or rushing yards in a game since like 2011.
Yeah. Well, we all knew it was going to be a struggle. God, listening to Barrero again tonight, and a fan emailed in, and he's all upset and saying, you know, we're going to rebuild this program. And the guy said, how can we be rebuilding on a 9-4 year with Tracy Claeys? Okay.
And?
Well, he said we've actually rebuilt. We went the other way. We're going to end up 4-8.
4-8.
And he kind of said we got another whacker and Brewster on our hands, and Barrero didn't agree with any of that stuff.
I don't. If you and I will fight this, the whole. I was a Tracy Claeys fan. Don't get me wrong. I think that football-wise, they had things going in the right direction. But even if Clay stayed around, they knew that this recruiting class, this senior class coming in, they were in trouble. They didn't have this thing. They sold their soul, whatever you want to call it, for last season.
Yeah.
And they knew that no matter who was the head coach this year, they were going to have the barrel was going to be a little empty. The gun wasn't going to have enough bullets in it. Whatever you want to say, it was not going to be. So Claeys probably would have went 4-8 or 5-7 or whatever. Same way. It's just the way that it is. And like I said, we'll be hopeful for the future and see what happens.
Yeah, and I like this Fleck. I think he has the right attitude, and I think Claeys and Kill both went off on a kind of a sour note.
Yeah.
What do? You don't bridge. You don't throw people.
Yeah, you don't burn the bridge.
Yeah, they burned bridges there, and you know, the Gophers gave Jerry Kill a heck of an opportunity, and Jerry Kill had to get the last shot in at the end, which I thought was unfortunate. I mean, the Gophers did everything for that guy, and trying to keep him, you know, with health issues and keep him as their coach. I mean, not a lot of programs would have. Maybe they can't because you probably get in trouble because of labor laws and stuff. But the Gophers stuck by him pretty well there, I thought, and the way that thing all departed, I didn't think it was good. My opinion. What do you think there, Mr. University of Minnesota? No comment.
No comment. The Gopher basketball team is speaking of Gophers, ranked 15th in the nation in the preseason poll. There are a lot of expectations there. We don't have to go on anything there. You want to talk college hockey?
Muir Coffee, you got Mason, you got the young Isaiah Washington, Jordan Murphy. They're loaded, and I'd be surprised if they don't contend for a top 2 or top 1 or 2, 3 spot in the Big Ten. Michigan State's number 2 in the nation. I look for a big year from Gophers, plus 20+ wins. You know, good coach, Richard Pitino. I see some good things.
Hopefully he hasn't got his father's way of doing things so that we get run over by a semi-truck. Anyway.
Well, they're wearing hush puppies, so they don't have a big contract with Nike or Reebok or any of that. Can we
what about college hockey? How about anything there? The Dogs I know are hurt. Gophers 7-3. I think I saw.
Again, I might as well stick with the format of the Tonight Show. A little negativity.
Yeah.
I mean, me and my brother Gerald. I think my brother's the one that does it to me. I mean, Gerald, Mr. Negative. He says, "Bully." We're watching the Gophers in Michigan State.
He calls you bully?
Oh yeah. And we're watching the game. He's going, "Look at the fans." I said, "What fans?" He said, "Exactly. The place was half filled, Ringer." Okay?
The state of hockey.
Yeah, state of hockey and the Big Ten and supposedly they say, you know, we're the cream of the crop here, and Minnesota's losing recruits. UMD's getting whoever they want. Mankato State's stealing guys. St. Cloud State is the one that's really stealing guys. I talked to my good buddy Bruce Raboin, and he said this is the best core of defensemen that St. Cloud State's ever had in their program.
Is Garrett coaching there?
Garrett is assistant coach. Yeah, Bruce Raboin's son, Garrett. He's an assistant coach, main recruiter, I guess. Don't quote me on that, but I'm saying it. Main recruiter for St. Cloud State, and doing a heck of a job. And he has some pretty good genes in the KU and Raboin family.
There you go. Speaking of your brother, got a season started last Monday.
Did they win?
Just the preseason skating business. Their first game next Tuesday, the 14th. They head off to Roseau to take on the Rams, and the Roseau volleyball team made it to state, so maybe they'll be a little behind the
once.
Number if they've got some girls that play both. I know that a lot of their basketball players play volleyball. Etc. But their hockey season gets started, and I know that obviously next week boys hockey starts on Monday and girls basketball practices on Monday.
Yep.
So things are getting started for the winter season. Of course, we this week the girls swimming and diving team has their section. After we took a little time off, we didn't get to talk about all the other stuff.
Have you
in
ever
there.
talked to Jill about that? Whether they would start the season a little earlier, or is that just something that's always going to be?
That is something that I think that is always going to be.
Okay.
This fits into the state high school league.
And I don't think
scheme.
Jill or any other programs in the state, and I think we've lost a few here and there, odd ones, but not odd people, but odd kids that just said, no, I'd rather get ready for my next sport. But they've had such a good swimming program here in International Falls, and this is one of the years where we got a bunch of young kids. But I'd be curious to see, if you ask Jill, if they've lost some players because of the longer season, where it goes into.
I know there were a couple girls who did not go out for swimming this year because they didn't like the fact that they missed the first part of the hockey season.
Okay. And it's just hockey, or is it basketball too?
Basketball.
Don't be throwing my hockey things on the bus.
Remember, hockey practice starts in October.
Oh, big difference.
Starts on October 30th.
Yeah.
And then the girls' swim season, the sections aren't over till the 9th and the 11th. Those are the 2 days. And it's been like that for years and years and years. So basketball practice usually starts after swimming is finished. So the hockey team, they're in two different places. And so, the girls' hockey team, I talked to a couple of the girls who used to be on the swimming team and that are on the hockey team, and they said did not want to miss those first 2 weeks of practice. Did not want to have to do that, and that's unfortunate.
It's really
unfortunate for whichever program loses the kid, because both teams need each and every.
Well, I like multi-sport athletes, and you're right. All the sports need all the girls, and I think the Minnesota State High School League could actually do something if they wanted.
Well, I think they could shorten the season. They could shorten the hockey seasons.
They can't shorten the pool.
No.
Okay.
But I think they could. I think they could shorten the hockey season and move everything back a week and just lose a week. Lose a week of games or a week of whatever. The basketball, hockey seasons—they're the longest seasons of all the seasons.
They work so hard to get to the 25 number. I mean, that's the set number. Girls hockey plays 23 this year. They don't play 25. But anyways, just my thoughts on it. I just think there could be something. There's always something that can be done. Kids like playing. I mean, the doggone, what was it, volleyball team seemed like they were playing 3 days a week.
A lot of times they were.
And that, to me, that's too much a missing of school. But I would have liked it when I was in high school. But anyways, yeah.
State volleyball and state football tournaments get started this week. Of course, the state cross country just got done, and so that's kind of where we're at with the high school season. Pretty soon, we're going to be hard and heavy. You're going to be my right-hand man for.
Yeah, we're going to have some fun this year. When's our first game? The 21st?
November 21st, a Tuesday. Girls against Park Rapids.
The reason I said no originally is I told Gerald, I said, I had to tell Ringer no on the first game. I said, I don't like to do certain things, and one of the things I don't like to do is go to Park Rapids.
And then you realized that it was at home.
Gerald said, well, the game's at home. I said, it is? I said, oh. So I got back on the phone. I said, Ringer, I'm good for that game.
Good for that game. And that is actually a 6 o'clock game because it is a Tuesday night.
No B game.
And there's no JV game, so there'll be a 6 o'clock game that night. We'll be on the air at 5:40. Just for everybody who's, and I know Park Rapids the last few years, there is a team that has been struggling to keep the program afloat. I think last year when they came up, the one time they came up, I think they came up with 13 girls.
Wow.
That's it. Everybody, it was 13 girls complete.
That's not enough.
That's not enough.
Who you got tonight?
Huh?
Who you got tonight?
Okay, I'm going to ask that dumb question. Who's even playing tonight? Because I haven't even paid attention.
And you call your Mr. Sports of the Twin Ports.
I know.
Really?
I know.
Detroit and Green Bay. It's NFC
Really?
Central game.
Wow.
Aaron Rodgers ain't playing.
Aren't the Wild or the Timberwolves playing? Because that's
good story today, and I'll finish it on this until we get to
one more story.
Walked into one of my retailers today. I'm in Tower, Minnesota. Okay. The owner's a huge Packer fan. You go into the establishment. I won't mention the name. It's in Tower. It's kind of like the good old days. And you go in there, and all it is Packer paraphernalia everywhere.
It hurts you to walk in.
It's actually kind of cool. But yeah, I'm not a big Packer fan. But anyways, he's got Packer stuff, and I was hoping he was there. So I walked in, and what I did is I took my arm and I put it inside my coat and had the arm of the thing sit over it. So when I got in, the little girl looks at me and I said, "Hey, is Randy in?" And she goes, "No, he's in Green Bay." I said, "He went to the game?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, "Darn." She goes, "What happened to your arm?" So I had some fun with her while I said, "Well, I was actually hoping Randy was here because I was going to tell him I ran into Anthony Barr out in the parking lot." So anyway, she took a picture of me. We sent it to Randy, and he would have got it sometime later today, and I'm going to get it from him when I get back.
There you go. I will take Detroit on the road at Packerland without Aaron Rodgers. That's who I'll go because
yeah, it'll be interesting that the new quarter. What's his name anyway? Hunley. Used to be UCLA quarterback, and he came out of the draft pretty high, but didn't get drafted real high. But I got Green Bay winning at home, and I think that would be good for the Vikings if Green Bay beats Detroit. We need to send Detroit down another notch, and Detroit's dangerous because we play them in Detroit yet on Thanksgiving Sunday, and they're the team that could be our nemesis to get into the playoffs. So I'm taking Green Bay because of that.
Fair enough.
Questions? Anything?
You mentioned Teddy coming back on Thanksgiving.
Yes, sir.
Do you think he's going to be the same quarterback where he'll try to run?
That's a great question. I did mention that one of the reasons he's pretty good is because he was able to run out of the pocket and elude tacklers and get away from the pass rush. But he's got to play the way Teddy Bridgewater played before the injury. Otherwise, he shouldn't be playing. But so to answer your question, I said yes. I think he will be able to run. I think he'll be fine there. I'm more worried about his arm strength, to be honest.
I agree. I think he has to play. Well, it's the natural way that he plays it. I mean, it's just like anything else. You can't take that away, and that's what he's going to do. I really believe that.
That's like Parisi when he comes back. Yeah, I mean, he's got the herniated disc and all those when he comes back.
When?
I know. But anyways, he has to play in front of the net or he's not going to be effective. Same thing with the quarterback who's used to running. Cam Newton, he didn't run much last year, but now if you watch him this year, he knows he has to run to be effective. So, good question.
So, and then the second question is, who do you think are the favorites for the Super Bowl now?
Ringer?
The favorites? Well, I mean, Philadelphia has been showing. I mean, they're 8-1. After watching them the last couple of weeks, they've been on TV. I mean, Carson Wentz is looking very, very good. It's going to be tough to see them lose. I mean, the way they're playing right now, and you still got to take New England out of the. I mean,
No, you're taking my boys.
Well, of course.
New England. Well, New England's definitely coming out. That's
That's for sure.
their biggest possible nemesis was Broncos, and they're just a mess.
Not Pittsburgh?
Huh?
Not Pittsburgh?
No, Pittsburgh, no.
Pittsburgh? No.
No, not an issue. Too much turmoil there too. They're all a lot of infighting with Martavius Bryant and the team out of the NFC. You ready for this? If it's a pretty big if Ezekiel Elliott continues to get these continuances, which I don't understand how that Second Circuit Court of the appeals and all that works, but if he continues to play and he plays against Philadelphia in 2 weeks, I say the Dallas Cowboys are going to come out of the NFC and play in the Super Bowl. I think Prescott's good. If you see how their defense keeps getting better. If they can stay healthy on the defensive side of the ball, that's a good team, and they can win. So I'm going to take Dallas. I don't think Philadelphia is going to be there for the long run. I just see some issues.
So is this buddy Carson Wentz right underneath the bus. I can't even believe it.
Well, no,
You, Carson Wentz.
did I say Carson Wentz was going to lose? No, I said the
You said
Philadelphia Eagles.
That's Carson.
And you
it's
should
Carson
know
Wentz's team.
that
It's the
more than any other
quarterback's team.
sport, football is probably the biggest team sport of them all.
It is.
Okay. How about you, big guy?
I was just curious how states like North Dakota and South Dakota actually came up with their name. Instead of picking
The
like
Bison?
or something.
The Bison, are there Bison in North Dakota?
Or just the states in general, North Dakota and South Dakota.
I suspect that might have had something to do with the Native Americans that were there. They were called the Dakota, right? I believe.
Yeah.
Is that the reason? I'm not a.
And what I would have done if I sat a place called Dakota, I would have taken the north side and called it North. And then I would have claimed the South Dakota side of the other thing, Same thing with that North Carolina, South Carolina thing. Same thing's happening over there. But You always, I don't, ugh, you just like, I'm ready for,
Flicker tails?
well, I'm ready
Can
for
we call
like
them-
a,
Can we call them the flicker tails? Yeah.
who's the flicker tails?
That's the way North Dakota used to be. They were
Oh,
called
they
the flicker
originally,
tails.
yes, and then they
Originally the flicker
became,
tails.
now they're the what?
Now they're the
Fighting Hawks.
Fighting Hawks. So
What else you got?
When
You
was
must
the
have
last
one
time
better than that.
Actually, snow was before Halloween and kept around.
ooh, wow. It's been a few years since the snow came before October.
What was the blizzard of Halloween here
That was
back in
91.
95, 91?
The last time I can say for sure was in 2006. I know that the Bronco football team played in the section championship game in Proctor.
Yeah.
And I think it was like, well, of course it was the Friday before deer hunting, so it was in November. But I remember the snowbanks were pushed up on the sides
Yeah.
off the field there, and it was cold. I remember it might be one of the coldest I've ever been watching a football game. I was on the sideline watching it, and it was absolutely frigid. And I know that we had snow before Halloween that year, and I know that it stuck around. So that would be the last time I can remember, only because of those football games that have.
In the Twin Cities, have no accumulation yet.
Okay.
So the people are still golfing.
No.
Yeah.
In the cities?
Yeah.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Nuts.
What else? Anything?
What's your prediction for Icebox Day's temperature? Last year was like 50.
Oh, is that when we had Hector Santiago come up here?
Yeah, we had
and
the nice weather.
Eduardo, my boy, Eduardo Escobar, had a great year because he came up here for Icebox. I'm going to predict a cold one. I would say it's going to be below 0. I'm going to go an even number at 11. 11 below. Of the time the race starts. When I lace up and I start running that, what is it?
10 or 5K, which one are you?
Well, the 10. I
Gotta run the 10.
If I'm going to go, I'm going to go
If you're
big.
gonna go, you might as well go.
Are you going to run in it again?
Yeah, I'll be
Are you going to dress up again, or are you going to go as an athlete?
I'll dress up again.
There you go. That's right.
You were awesome last year, by the way. I heard a lot of good things about that. That's what we need in this town. A little more fun, excitement,
So, yeah,
out of the
time
box.
started.
No more fun, goofy questions, though. I like those. God, it's just exhausting. Exhausting. Anything else?
So when's the first ice house gonna go out?
Oh, jeez, there he
wow.
goes again.
Out here or down
Oh,
the
down the lake.
Down the lake. Boy, I'll tell you.
Ice out?
Or
No,
just-
when's the first ice house going on the lake? I mean, there's some. I'll use this term affectionately. Nut jobs out there that will go out and put their shanty.
I can
on
give you their names if
Yeah,
you want.
well,
Yeah.
it's November 6th as we and the weather is not supposed to get. I mean, high of 18 on Friday. I saw that's ice making weather. I'm going to say before the 20th.
Of December.
Before the 20th of November.
Ooh, that would be
There
really
could be
early.
people out on that ice somewhere.
I'll say
maybe Black Bay where things are a little. I don't know if out here on Birch Point, but it'll be before Thanksgiving for sure.
Well, Black
My
Bay will
prediction.
definitely be, but December 1st will be the day.
December 1st. There you go.
Yeah.
Ice on December 1st.
Yeah. Easy for me to remember.
That's your birthday?
That is so. And we'll,
Happy 59th?
It's a Friday, 59th.
Wait, I gotta do my math. 79, 38, 56.
Well, thank you. That's what I am now.
Oh, well, that was pretty close.
Yeah. Not bad for a math teacher. We're done.
Thanks, everybody.
Don't take us too serious.